Okay, we're going to take a look here at the Microsoft Data Center project, then and now. This is back during the Ice Age, right here. In this area, there were mammoths and mastodons, um, giant bison, ground sloths, and ancient horses living. We're going to take a look at the fossils, the geology, and the law regarding fossils, and what to do if a potential fossil is uncovered. Paleontology is the study of fossils. Fossils are the remains or other indications of ancient life, including the Ice Age or the Quaternary period. The fossils that are potentially found on this site are from between 11,500 to over 120,000 years old. Ice Age rocks and soils in this project area can be uncharacteristically shallow, meaning not found too far below the surface, and can be more extensive at the surface than current maps would suggest. Significant Ice Age fossils have been found in areas mapped as Holocene floodplain, flood basin soils, and stream channel deposits within a half mile of the Microsoft project footprint. There are federal, state, and local laws that regulate the protection of these fossils. The California Environmental Quality Act, or CEQA, paleontological resources are explicitly afforded protection by CEQA, specifically in Appendix G, Section 5C, which addresses the potential for adverse impacts to unique paleontological resources, sites, or geological features. A key tenet of the CEQA environmental checklist is, would the project directly or indirectly destroy a unique paleontological resource or site, or unique geological feature? Under CEQA, the treatment of paleontological resources is usually conducted in accordance with guidance from the Society of Vertebrate Paleontology. Laws for the County of Santa Clara, CRC 49, Cultural Heritage Resources, which includes paleontological resources within Santa Clara County, should be preserved, restored wherever possible, and commemorated as appropriate for their scientific, cultural, historic, and place values. The City of San Jose also has paleontological laws. Paleontology to preserve and conserve significant artifacts in order to promote a greater sense of historic awareness and community identity. Require paleontological mitigation measures be incorporated into the project design. And finally, ensure the city, state, and federal historic preservation laws, regulations, and codes are enforced, including laws related to paleontological resources, to ensure the adequate protection of historic and prehistoric resources. There's an obligation to protect and to preserve. Project personnel have an obligation to protect and preserve scientifically and socially valuable paleontological resources. Violation of these laws presented above is subject to federal, state, and felony and misdemeanor prosecution under these laws. So the rules on site when groundwork is happening. If suspected fossils are encountered during construction, the construction work shall immediately be halted within 50 feet radius of any potential fossil find. Notify the supervisor, project manager, and the project paleontologist, who shall evaluate its significance. The area shall be cordoned off within a 50-foot radius, and all earth disturbance shall cease within that radius. Failure to report suspected fossils is a violation of federal, state, and/or local regulations, and is punishable by civil, criminal, felony, and misdemeanor penalties, including fines and/or imprisonment. Let's talk a little bit about the geology of the Microsoft project site. The closest fossils found near the site are from giant extinct Ice Age bison and were found only 1,000 feet west of Coyote Creek at a depth of 2 feet below the ground surface in sandy soil. The most important rocks for discovering these Ice Age fossils are the silts, sands, and gravels below the bay mud layer. These are the oldest, but they aren't always buried deeply. The dense interbedded gravels and sands appear to correlate to the fluvial or stream deposits that separate the younger non-fossiliferous Holocene Bay mud from the older fossiliferous Sangamonian Bay mud. Many of the borehole drill sites record sediments that could potentially contain these Ice Age vertebrates. Consequently, all layers underlying the site and associated linears are designated as having moderate potential, PFYC, potential fossil yield classification, class 3 for fossil discovery. That's on a scale from 1 to 4. Here's a map showing some of the locations where fossils have been found near the Microsoft Data Center project site. Here's the data center site, and here is the discovery of a fossil bison quite near the data center site. And here's other sites as well, where mastodons, mammoths, giant ground sloths, bison, horses were found in Ice Age sediments. Here's the project site showing on the surface 2 mapped geological layers, the Holocene natural levee deposits and the Holocene floodplain deposits. The actual geology on the site is much more complex than this simple drawing would show. These other older layers would be found below the green layer and the brown layer here. And here are those 2 layers, the green layer and the brown layer on the project site. And these yellow layers here, the older layers, are found nearby. Here's the borehole study that was done on the project site, showing Coyote Creek right here. And here is an example of one of the borehole studies. These sands and gravels here are more likely to contain the Ice Age fossils. Well, what do the fossils look like? Well, here's an example of one of the fossils that could potentially be found. This is a cross-section of a mammoth tusk showing the ivory and the rings of ivory. This is what broken fossilized bone looks like. This is an important thing to keep in mind, to remember this. This is what bone will look like when it's dug up by a tractor. It'll be broken. These are some of the silts that these Ice Age creatures are found in. They're also found in sands and gravels. This is what a mammoth tusk looks like when it's been hit by a tractor. It's not going to look pretty. Here it is again, showing this mammoth tusk that was hit by a tractor. Here's a mammoth arm bone, upper arm bone, and you can see right here the color and the texture and the shape of this bone. These are all important features to keep in mind when you're out grading. These are mammoth teeth. Some of these teeth, you would need 2 hands to pick them up. They're gigantic and over a foot long. There's another picture of a mammoth tooth from near the project site. This is a toe bone of a mammoth. This is a little bit bigger than your hand, so pretty big. This is from another type of elephant that's found in the project immediate area. This is a mastodon. These mastodons had cusped teeth, and they were browsers, and they lived near streams, and they ate leaves off of trees, whereas mammoths grazed in grasslands. Here's a short-faced bear skull that was found in North Bay area. Always possible to find these guys out there as well. Here's a lower jaw of an extinct Ice Age horse found near the project site, Caltrans Highway 680 site. Here's some bison teeth. These bison teeth are pretty diagnostic, and they're preserved more commonly than other skeletal elements because they're so dense and hard. Here's bison leg bones and bison teeth. Bone fragments. These are bone fragments from the Math Science Center in Fremont, found nearby the project site. Okay, let's review. If suspected fossils are encountered during construction, the construction work shall immediately be halted within a 50-foot radius of any potential fossil find and notify the supervisor, project manager, and project paleontologist, who shall evaluate its significance. The area shall be cordoned off within a 50-foot radius, and all earth disturbance shall cease within the radius. Failure to report suspected fossils is a violation of federal, state, and or local regulations and is punishable by civil, criminal, felony, and misdemeanor penalties, including fines and or imprisonment. This presentation has been presented by Pacific Paleontology, Santa Cruz, and Monterey.